Yes, welcome along to episode 7 of Upping The Ante in association with Bet365 with David Jennings and Gavin Lynch, counting down to the 2022 Cheltenham Festival. I watched last week's show, Gavin.
And?
I thought you enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I thought you enjoyed it a bit too much for my liking.
You're getting jealous, Dave.
Well, all I'll say is if I was Anne-Marie, I'd be a little bit worried about letting you out on your own. Because you really enjoyed yourself.
Asher Ritchie's
decent.
Well. Yeah, Ritchie's a decent skin, isn't he?
Yeah, I enjoyed it, I have to say. It was interesting watching from the other side.
Good.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the show. How are you?
Good. Looking forward to Christmas. Got the Christmas haircut in just like you did.
Both did, yeah. I think I look a little bit fatter in the face than you do when you get your haircut.
And I got the booster jab as well, so I'm all set.
You're brand new.
Oh, brand new, yeah.
Now, I know you have a few bits of housekeeping before we start.
Yeah, well, the first thing we have to praise the main lady, Rachel Blackmore. 2 amazing achievements. I just better read them. The RT Sports Person of the Year, which was great, and also the BBC World Sports Star of the Year. So to beat like Djokovic and Tom Brady and people like that, like
and Kelly Harrington, who won a gold medal at the Olympics in Ireland, like unbelievable.
Yeah, so fantastic, Rachel. Second thing to say is the Coastal Curl, which was a huge success. We raised 185,000 last summer.
Well done, Gavin Lynch.
For Cancer Trials Ireland. So we're going ahead again this year. We're in the middle of doing a website at the moment. And we've picked a date, which is Saturday, August the 27th.
Put it in your diary, Saturday, August the 27th.
Yeah, so it's a bit earlier this year. There's only the one meeting that day. Last year was when the stall was on, so this year we've come a bit earlier. Hopefully get as good a weather, be great. So we're doing the same circuit, so keep an eye out. We'll have a website done maybe.
I'm going to do the whole thing this year, Gavin.
You are? You said that last year.
No, it was.
And then you said you're doing half. And
I'm going to do the whole thing this year.
You're going to do half. Half it do. And the last thing to say is that the Nace Racecourse Day,
yes,
the Upping The Ante Day, we announced it last week.
Love the sound of this, yeah.
In your absence. So Eamon McAvoy, fantastic fella in Nace. So Sunday, February the 27th, we gave away 200 free tickets, 200 tickets at half price, and they were gone within a day or two. So they went very, very quickly.
And we might now. It's not finalised yet, but there might just be an Upping The Ante live. There might be.
Good. And if you want to come along that day, you can buy a ticket online now for 15 quid. So it should be a good day. That's Sunday, February the 27th.
Imagine watching us live.
Yeah.
They would see how many takes you take. You finished?
Yep.
We get on with the show?
Yep.
Let's get on with the show. Yes, folks, as always, we're going to kick off with our questions from the crowd. And the first question this week comes in from John Power, Gavin. And John wants to know, is John Bon not way too short? He says, some firms are going 7-4 John Bon for the Supreme. Considering we haven't seen Sir Gerhard yet, is that not way too short for Jovi, as I call him?
Jovi, yeah. It took me a while to get that one the first time he told me. So we have a question about John Bon from John. He's 2-1 with Bet365. Look, he's been ultra impressive twice. The only thing about John Bon, he's going to get confused someday when they actually start at a proper gallop.
Oh my God,
because if you had to pick 2 races in the last couple of months that crawled for a furlong or 2, it's the 2 he was in. So he must think there's a speed limit for the first couple of furlongs or something.
If all the horses were the same price, would you back John Bon?
You would, yeah. He's totally entitled to be favoured. He's got a wow factor. The fact that he's a full brother to Duvan, obviously, and there was a lot of talk with the money he made and stuff, but his jumping is electric. He's very, very quick over his hurdles. It was a grade 2, it was a decent race. He won very, very easily. The only thing I'd say is Constitution Hill was quick on the clock on Sandown. He's very, very good. You like him. And the other thing is, more Willie than Gordon, maybe, or Henry, is that Willie has a huge amount of entries over the Christmas. For example, in the grade 1, the 2 miler at Leopardstown, there's 14 entered. Willie has 11 of them. And 4 of them haven't run for Willie yet. Now, they probably won't run, but I'm saying if he's entering 4 horses in a grade 1, they must be decent. And in the first race in Leopardstown, the 12 o'clock on Sunday, is it? He's in 9 entered, and 7 of them haven't ran from before, including 3 of those we mentioned that's in the grade 1. So
there could be a Duvan amongst them.
Well, I was going to say, if he gets a Duvan, he'll beat the younger brother.
He will, yeah, God.
But John Bon has been brilliant. He's entitled to be maybe 2-1's a dot short, but he's totally entitled to be favourite, yeah.
But you prefer John Bon to Constitution Hill at this moment?
I would at the moment, but I mean, he's probably going to go to, where do you go, Sandown next?
Talworth, yeah, potentially, yeah.
So, but look, it's exciting. There's a lot of horses to come out, so I think 2-1 is a dot short, but he's the right favourite.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's probably the right favourite, but as you know, Gavin, I prefer Constitution Hill. Next up this week is Laura McAvoy, and Laura wants to know, Gavin, are you finally a Champ fan after Saturday, and where would you run him? Would you run him in the Gold Cup or the Stayers Hurdle?
Well, you see, you slag me with Champ, right? So Champ's record over hurdles is very good. I think he had 6 out of 8. So he's a very, very decent hurdle. He's got a brilliant engine, as we saw in the RSA when he came from the next parish to win. So I don't know
what the bud is here.
But you were slagging me about Champ. So last year, I just hated his preparation for the Gold Cup. What did he want? He ran second in the game Spirit to So Royal, and I said he'd no chance in the Gold Cup. What happened in the Gold Cup?
Gavin, you were proved spectacularly right.
Anyway,
he was beaten after one fence in the Gold Cup.
He pulled up in the end, right? So I just think...
In the end? He didn't even get to the middle. He was pulled up after a few fences.
I think, again, he probably shouldn't go for a Gold Cup. I think he should go for the Stairs Hurdle.
Do you think he can win a Stairs Hurdle?
The stats are against him. In the last 63 years, one horse aged 10 or over has won the Stairs Hurdle, and he's 10 next week.
You're still ageist.
So I am ageist. He was very, very good in Ascot. He travelled. He just had got a lead longer. And then when Time Hill came up to him, you thought between the last two you were going to win. I'd say you definitely went favourite. So, yeah, look, he's definitely got a chance in the Stairs, even if the stats are slightly against him with the age thing.
So you're converted. You are a champ fan.
I don't know, but I'm just saying, I don't like him over fences.
Okay.
He's only won 3 over 6 over fences, including the fall and pull up in Cheltenham. And so hurdles are his bag, baby. And, yeah, he's decent, yeah.
Okay. Laura, he's not quite going to the party, but he's lukewarm and champ. And our final question this week comes in from Kevin McDermott. And what a day for price-wise, Gavin. Tom Siegel in the Racing Post. 2,267 to 1 4-timer on Saturday. And the glorious thing about that is, those were the SPs for those horses.
Yes.
If you did the multiple the night before, you would be getting astronomical sums.
Yeah, fair play to him.
Well, Kevin wants to know, that was a brilliant day for price-wise, and well done, Tom. He wants to know, what was your best ever day punting?
Well done, Tom. Best ever day punting and tipping.
Looking forward to this now.
So, in terms of Cheltenham, I'd say in 2016, when Ivanovic Gorbatov won the Triumph, he filled up a Trixie and a Lucky 15, so that was quite okay. Easter Sunday 2013, I did a Lucky 15. I made a note here. It was the Tullow Tank Sitcom Byerly Babe, and there was a horse, Sammy Black, won a handicap hurdle in Fairyhouse.
Barry Connell.
Yeah, so I did those 4, and actually my cousin Sean did a bet for me and for himself, and that night he rang me with a bit of a surprise. But the funny thing about that day was, Not for Changing should have beaten Sammy Black. Right. I won't say who wrote it, doesn't matter, but we won't
People
go into
can
it.
check.
But,
people have websites.
Not
people
for Changing,
can check. Racing Post site.
Not for Changing definitely should have won that day. He was beating the neck. So that night, myself and my 2 pals, they had done the Lucky 15. We actually bought Not for Changing that night. There you go.
How did that turn out?
Yeah, he won a race for some Fairyhouse and then unfortunately got injured. But no, he was a decent horse, yeah.
Okay, that was a great day. Easter Sunday. Gavin rose from the dead.
2013. And the last story is, this one is about tipping. So Paddy O'Rourke, the former Meath goalkeeper, he's now in Australia. He rings me one day, and he was in college in Dundalk, and he was a poor student like I was back in the day. And he said that himself and a couple of 100 friends were going to Dundalk to the races. He went to the Dundalk IT. So he asked me for a few tips. So I sent him a text with 4 tips on it. And the next thing, the first 3 had won. So I rang him and I said, geez, you must be going real well. He goes, oh no, not really. I says, I've only had a little small single on them. I said, did you do a multiple? He said, the only multiple I did, he said, was a 5er each way a cume. So I said, do you not do a Lucky 15 or anything? He goes, no, I did it a 5 each way a cume. So if the 4th horse was unplaced, he gets nothing for the bet.
What happened?
So I said to him, are you mental? That was a mad thing to do. And he said, look, I was a poor student. He didn't have much money. So I was chatting to his brother Phelim yesterday, and he contacted him in Australia. So the 4th horse won anyway. So he tells me this morning that for the 5er each way a cume, he got €5,309. It was Duntle at 5-1, Brogue Jas at 7-2, Grey Danube at 6-1, and Hawkswood, ridden by Pat Smullen, believe it or not, at 9-2. So he got $5,000, and I'm sure it helped the rest of his college.
Gavin Lynch sharing the love. So there you go. There's Gavin Lynch's punting pearls for the last couple of years. It's the week that was time. Yes, this is Gavin Lynch's chance to tell you about all the horses who have impressed him over the last 7 days. And I'd say it's not the longest list.
No, it's only a couple of pages. It won't take too long, 10 minutes maybe. The first thing I want to tell you is I have found my Pertemps horse, but I'm not going to tell you today.
Oh, tell me, come on!
No. If he gets entered into a Pertemps qualifier...
I know who it is.
If he gets entered in a Pertemps qualifier, I'll let you know. When he gets priced up, I'll tip him up that week, so you'll miss nothing.
We're on the weekend, did he?
No. Not saying.
Yes, he did.
So we're going to start in Plumpton on Monday with For Pleasure. He's now 33-1 for the Arc. I'll jump very, very well. He's a front runner. He's like a greyhound around those tight tracks. You'd imagine, even though he has won at Cheltenham, you'd imagine that somewhere like Aintree might suit him better. Maybe the Grand Annual, but he mightn't get a solo.
He does kind of keep going, doesn't he? I thought he couldn't sustain that gallop, but he did keep going.
We gave him a mention last year before the Supreme. He finished 3rd in it at 40-1. he made the run that day. He was third to Edward Stone of Warwick, so that gave his form a boost, I suppose. Ante Newbury on Wednesday. We'll come to your horse in a minute. We'll start with I Am Maximus. He's now 20s for the Supreme, 16 for the Ballymore. Because Nicky's the two favourites in the Supreme, maybe he could end up going with the Ballymore.
He got a mark of 129, Gavin Lynch.
129.
129. It's an insult to I Am Maximus.
We already know that the English horses are getting rated much lower this year to compete in handicaps, maybe at Cheltenham, it seems to me anyway.
Imagine if he got scraped into a Coral Cup or something, I Am Maximus.
Yeah. He could end up going on the Ballymore. So don't forget, he beat My Drogo on a bumper. He got beaten extra last month over hurdles. But he was quite good here. He looked like in for a right battle before the last. But then in the last 100 yards, he went right away from them. So he was quite decent.
Better than a mark of 129 anyway.
He won by 6 lengths, but he was 1 second slower than Juvenile hurdles. That wouldn't shout too much from him. Onto your horse, Silver Forever. Well done.
Thank the Lord.
Well done.
I needed her.
Maybe you should stay sick.
I needed her. I was on my deathbed and I needed her. And she gave me the pick-me-up that I needed last week.
She did. She was very, very good. She jumped great. She had a slight mistake 3 out, but her jumping was really, really good. You tipped her up last week at 20. She's 10s now for the Mayor's Chase. She beat Chilly Philly. She was getting £4, but she beat it easy. It closed down late to win by less than 2 lengths, but your horse was much the best. That was 2 miles 7. Just to tell you, Paul Nichols, and I'm not trying to rain your parade, Paul Nichols said afterwards in his quote that she's going to get an entry in the Mayor's Chase and in the Brown Advisory.
Don't mind Paul. She goes for the Mayor's Chase.
So he said we'll see later on the season. She was 5 seconds quicker than the handicap chase run over the same trip.
Jealousy will get to know
her,
Gavin.
No, she's good. On to Thursday in Naas, Brandy Love, the porn star as you call her.
Yeah.
She's only a 5-year-old. She's 8-1 for the Mayor's Novice Hurdle. We mentioned her here in the show last week. I was close to tipping her at 25s or whatever last week, but just there's so many in the Mayor's Hurdle.
Sick.
A little bit.
I loved her jumping in the second half of the race.
Yeah, no, her jumping was very good. She was quite keen, but she beat Limerick Lace by 10 lengths in the end. No, she was really good.
Hardly surprising that Brandy Love was quite keen, was it?
It was a decent enough time. She was 7 seconds quicker than the handicap hurdle. Don't get too excited by that because Saga Aravi is rated 85, so she'd want to be quicker than 85 horse.
It's hard not to get excited when you watch a Brandy Love, Gavin.
Okay, that's enough. On to the Beginner's Chase. Capodanno did remarkably well to win considering the mistake. Like its face touched the ground after the second last. But it did jump quite well most of the way around. It had lots of scope. Did very, very well to beat Ambromisia by a length and a quarter over 2 mile 3. Don't forget that he won a handicap hurdle last April in Punchtown over 3 miles by like 12 lengths. So he definitely stays 3 miles. So he'll definitely be up on the trip. He's 12-1 for the Brown Advisory Novice Chase. Gallard de Menil, who went off 4-11, was very disappointing. I know it was only 2 miles 3, but at the same time, his jumping was okay, 1 or 2 mistakes, but you still thought he'd pick up a lot better than the straight. He's 33-1 for the Brown Advisory, but he'll have to improve an awful lot.
Now, his first run obviously over hurdles for Willie at Punchestown.
Yeah.
He blew up a little bit, so...
Willie said afterwards, the winner did very well, and he also said Gallard de Menil maybe wasn't fully fit. But he'd certainly want to improve a lot to become a Cheltenham candidate. On to Friday in Ascot, John Bond, we spoke about, beat Colonel Mustard by 2 3/4 lengths. Nappers Hill was in third, who'd previously been unbeaten. Like, I would imagine it's fair to say that John Bond is up around the 150 level already, isn't it?
I think he's officially 145.
Yeah,
so
he's better than that. LA Bell finished at closing 4th. She stayed on very well. Obviously, the slow pace earlier on might not have suited her. I just was surprised that she ran in that race. I'd imagine that why she didn't stay to Mayor's company, but that's just my own opinion. Also on Friday in Ascot, Pick Dory, who's a decent horse, is probably not the strongest grade 2 in the world we've ever seen. Is that fair to say?
It's very fair to say, yeah. It was terrible grade 2, yeah.
He's 20-1 for the Turners, which was the Marsh. He beat Favwar by 9 lengths.
Jumping was good. He kind of slices through the top of them.
Yeah. On to Saturday in Ascot, Lom Press, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Is now 16-1 for the Turners. Beat Legends Ride by 13 lengths. That's 2 from 2 over fences. Previously, he'd won a handicap by 6 lengths off 128. Went into Saturday's race off 136. So it needs to get higher and higher, but obviously it'll get a penalty.
Fortunately, the lead fell out of the pencil very early in that race.
Yeah, you're good at the puns today. He fell at the 9th.
Been off for a week, Gavin. I'm thinking about this for the last 2 weeks.
Lying on the couch. On to Palmer's Hill, a horse that we mentioned here in Upping The Ante.
I would have loved to have tipped him for something, but you'd probably go with Paddy Power Plate. But.
I think he'd go for the Paddy Power Plate. it was an interesting race to watch because he looked in trouble after the second last. And for a second, he thought, oh, God, he's beat.
I think he's a 3-miler.
I think he's definitely wants... This was 2 mile 3.
Yeah.
Now, the Paddy Power Plate is 2 mile 4.5, so it's an extra 4.5. I think he's definitely a 2 mile 6, 3-miler because in the last 100 yards, he actually quickened right away, didn't he?
I thought if they didn't go over fence with him, he was a Pertemps horse big time.
So there's definitely other race in him anyway. And it's interesting to note, as we said, that he only got an £8 penalty, which seems quite light, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's a good horse, yeah.
Then we're on to Champ, that we spoke about. The long walk hurdle, very, very good renewal. The one thing I'll say, it just shows you how brilliant Honeysuckle is when you see Ronald Pump just not able to go with him because his heart was broke, I'd say, after Fairyhouse, having gone with her. So Paisley Park stayed on well when the race was over. But Champ travelled like the best horse. As we said earlier, was joined more or less by your horse, Time Hill. Looked beat and stayed on and battled well. So I don't see why Time Hill will reverse it with Champ at Cheltenham. What do you think?
Well, you're just criticising every tip I've had in the show so far today.
No, I'm not.
No, I think Time Hill probably will be better suited by the Stayers hurdle.
Okay.
Faster pace.
Flooring Porter will make the run, we'll say.
Yeah, an even pace. And I think, like, Keith kicked on kind of passing stands the first time on Ronald Pump. And I just think Time Hill, an end-to-end gallop where stamina, and I think he'll be bang there.
Okay.
I think
he'll be bang there,
he can rely on Time Hill to run his race. And you think coming down to the last, that long run from second last to last, I think Time Hill is going to be in there fighting like he was in the Albert Parted. Can you rely on Champ to be in there fighting coming down to last? I love Champ, but you can't rely on him. And I think you can rely on Time Hill.
There's 4 standouts, Classical Dream, Flooring Porter and Champ and Time Hill. So you'd imagine the 4 of them should be involved. The other 2 run against each other at Leopardstown at Christmas. But as we said, the stats are against a 10-year-old for the Stayers, but he's 4-1, second favourite Bet365, and your lad is 6-1. So
my lad, I wish he was my lad.
And the last horse to talk about is American Mike and the bumper in Navan on Saturday. Now, you have to remember one thing, that he's only 4, which is... He's a fair beast, isn't he?
He is some beast. Now, I know he probably didn't beat any superstars.
No.
But sometimes you just have to believe your eyes, Gavin.
Yeah, no, he looked very, very good. They went a good gallop. He beat Battling Betsy by 17 lengths. They were 9 seconds quicker than the 2-mile maiden hurdles. You have to allow 4 seconds for them jumping a hurdle. So he was still, say, 4 to 5 seconds quicker, which is, say, 20 lengths, 16 to 20 lengths quicker. So it was a very fast time. The time in the north in Down Royal was very quick as well. He's 3-1 best price with Bet365 for the champion bumper. So that's it.
What's the biggest price you have backed American Mike at?
Very small bet at 16s. A very small. Wouldn't pay for your shirt.
That'll keep you warm through the winter, Gavin. 16-1 American Mike.
Anyway.
Is that the week that was?
Yep.
That's the week that was. So each week here on Upping The Ante, we preview one of the graded races at the Cheltenham Festival. And this week it is the turn of a cracker. One of my favourite races, Gavin.
Yeah.
Now officially christened the Brown Advisory Novices Chase. And at the moment with Bet365, the 4-1 favourite is Brave Man's Game. 11-2, each of 2. Galloping the Champ and a high senior, 8-1 Bob Ollinger. And it is 10-1 bar. Gavin, if these all run, Lord Holy God.
It seems us people that are addicted to Cheltenham every year, that the novice races hold a special place in our hearts because they're excited to see who's going to be the best every year, aren't they?
But this year, of any year I can remember, if you look at the Arkle, the Brown Advisory, and the Turner, what's it called now?
Turners. Yeah.
Turners Novice Chase. Like, all the horses, just say this is the longer version.
Yes.
Then you have like Bob Ollinger, you've appreciated, you have Fernie Hollow. Like this time next year in open company, it's going to be brilliant.
Yeah, it's almost like we're more excited with novice race than we are with Gold Cups and all those.
So the Brown Advisory, 4-1 favourite, Brave Man's Game.
I've backed 2 in it. I've backed Galloping the Champ at 7-1, but we haven't seen him yet, which is obviously a worry. I'm praying. We've only got the entries at the first 2 days at Christmas. He's not in that because the beginner's chase is over, say, 2-1 or whatever. So hopefully he's in later on in the week in Leopardstown. But we need to see him. The other problem you have with him is he going to get, well, definitely, hopefully a second run for this race, but is he going to get a third run before Cheltenham? I don't see it. And is 2 runs enough before an RSA or the Brown Advisory?
You sound worried.
I just don't know if 2 runs is enough before a big race like this. I also backed he's Senor.
Oh, right, okay. And the reason behind that?
His time the last day was electric, like really, really, really fast. And I don't think the race in Aintree was a fluke. I think he beat Brave Man's Game fair and square. And I think he'll beat him again at Cheltenham. They're meeting at Kempton. Will he beat him at Kempton? Hopefully. I wouldn't be as confident in Kempton. even though a high senior jumps slightly to his right, which makes you think he'd be better going that way. I think the flat, speedier track, I think Braveman's game has probably got a few more gears than him, but I think in the end he should maybe outbattle him. But I think he'd beat him in Cheltenham.
Okay, interesting. And that race, if the two of them stand their ground in the Caught with Star Novice Chase, we'll talk about that in a moment, but it is going to be a race that will completely turn around this market.
Yeah, especially if one is impressive, you know. The current official ratings is a high senior is 157 and Braveman's game is 154, so that might be interesting.
Anything at bigger prices we should be interested in?
I suppose Vanillier deserves a mention. He won the Albert Bartlett last year by 11 lengths. Capodanno, that won the other day, is definitely going to step up and trip. He looks like a 3-miler. Maybe horse like Fruit de Len. Statler looked to have more gears than we ever thought the last day. So I just would have me doubts where he'll stay the National Hunt trip of 3-6. So he could go here. There's a mare that was very impressive the last week in Newbury called Silver Forever. She might go here. And
you're stirring, Gavin. You're stirring the pot. Paul Nichols watched the show now. So don't be telling Paul now porkies.
I'm sure he doesn't. Run Wild Fred is another horse. He's not even in the betting really. I think one bookmaker's priced him up. But everybody keeps talking about the National Hunt Chase for him. But if he runs and wins the 3-mile Grade 1, the Neville Hotels in Leopardstown, maybe Michael might have a chat with Gordon about that. I don't know. But just to win the Tri-Town so easily on good ground off 145, he's now rated 159. So he's literally the giant top, or the best novice chaser at the moment. He's not even in the betting. So
unbelievable, yeah. So right now, right here, who is the best value in the Brown Advisory?
I'd still probably say a high senior, but I just want to see Gallop and Deschamps out over Christmas.
Yeah, I think a high senior could be the real deal. I think he could be your 2023 Cheltenham Gold Cup.
He could.
Yes, there we go. We're both big high senior fans. It's Christmas preview time, folks. We're going to have a very short, snappy look at the Grade 1s over the first 2 days of the Christmas festivals. And we're going to kick off, of course, at Kempton. It's the King George, Gavin, and it is a proper King George this year. This is a King George for the ages.
When you started talking there, I thought you were going to say it's Christmas time. There's no need to be afraid.
I was going to try and sing.
but anyway, no, don't sing, no. I've heard you. The King George, I think, roughly 11-4 each to 2. Clandazobo, Manella Indo, 9-2 Frodon, 11-2 the Mad Horse, that's the steering for Lange, 11-2 Chantry House, 10's Bar. With the last 3 winners of the King George in here, because Clandazobo won it twice and Frodon won it last year. Tactically, Frodon's going to be bang up there again. Frodon is 3 from 4 at the track, so he has to have a good chance for Briney. It'd be interesting to see if the 2 girls come down to the last together, herself and Rachel on Manella. The one thing just to say, Frodon is 9, turning 10, so is Clandazobo and so is Lost in Translation. So just based on that, I might go against them. Right, so what is your selection in the King George? I'm going to go for Manella Indo, even though everybody will tell you that maybe right-handed, flat track, speedy 3 miles mightn't suit him. You have to remember that, for example, in the Bartlett, he was tanking coming down the hill. Yes. In the RSA against Champ and against Allaho, he went toe-to-toe with Allaho for 2 mile, 2.5 mile, 2 mile 6, eventually got on top. So to be able to stay with Allaho at, say, the 2.5 mile pole, as we saw last year in the Ryanair, so he definitely has a lot of gears. The chances are he needed the run in the north. So maybe Manella Indo, but a very good race. I obviously spent 10 days at home with nothing really to do. Yes. And my God, I gave this race some time. Did you? I did, yeah. And my start and studying the race, I was all over Steering for Lange. I thought he would have absolutely bolted up in the John Dark. And I think we'll agree he probably would have won. He would have won, yeah? Yeah, I think he would have won, okay. And I think if he had won impressively, he would be a 7-2 shot here. I just can't rely on him. I just went back through his runs, yeah, you can't, and even you just can't. You don't know what he's going to do, and I've been so frustrated over the years. I fancied horses in the King George. Like last year, I was all over Surname. Again, another horse you couldn't rely on. No. And I went through. Asterion is probably going to throw in a howler, isn't he? Yeah, he's going to throw in one howler. Brian Cooper is going to ride him. Gets on well with him. Was very impressive at Punchdown Together last year. Last season. I just when it came down to it, I said, right, who is the one that you can actually genuinely rely on? And it's Clandazobo. This is his season. This is trying to emulate some of the greats, the real greats, by winning 3 King Georges. This is his entire season has been centred around peaking on this day. I did a piece with Paul Nichols when I was over at Cheltenham for the November meeting, and we spoke about Clandazobo, and I was intrigued by how he's able to run a horse first time out in a King George like that, or like Frodon just because they're using different tactics than last year when he went to the Betfair. Yeah, absolutely, yeah, and it just took the edge off him a little bit. He
trusts himself to get a horse really, really fit. And I was fascinated by what he was telling me. He says, first time out, you can get a horse really, really fit. You can drill them because they're so fresh, and it's a trip to the racecourse. It's new. They haven't been in a racecourse for a while, and he can get them really, really fit. He doesn't think you can replicate that too many times in a season.
Okay.
So with Clan des Obeaux, he's obviously figured out how he can get him to peak, and he is able to do his own thing with him. We haven't seen him obviously since Punchestown last year. And
he was very good in Aintree and Punchestown.
He was very good at Aintree and Punchestown. He's probably not a good enough horse to win 3 King Georges, but I just think he's brilliantly trained. We know he loves the track. This is his race, and if my life depended on it, and you said to me, right, to stay alive, you have to pick the winner of King George, which I hope you're not, it would be Clan des Obeaux.
Yeah. It's a great race. Like it's a huge spectacle. It's probably not even a race to have a bet in, just to really appreciate it.
Is the best piece of form, obviously, is the Gold Cup with Manilindo. Okay, that's the best piece of form.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But we know his ultimate aim this year is the Gold Cup again. And I just wonder, if you have that in your head, and then with Clan des Obeaux, you're thinking, he did beat Albin Photo at Punchestown last season. He was very good at Aintree.
But apart from the Gold Cup, the race you might like to win is the King George. Like, it's a very famous race, so they're not going to refuse it if he's there turning in.
So to sum up, I'm a Clan des Obeaux fan, and you're Manilindo.
Yeah, but a great race to watch.
A great race to watch. Unfortunately, the Christmas Hurdle isn't exactly the greatest race in the world.
I have no opinion on this.
What has happened? Like, what is going on?
I won't back Ant in this, and I'll watch it, but...
Out of protest, Gavin. Out of protest that it being such a dreadful affair.
Epatante 8 to 11, Not So Sleepy 11 to 4. Like, Soaring Glory, who's rated 149, he's third favourite at 6 to 1.
And do you know what? I think he'd win it. I think he could win it, Gavin.
I don't. But
I don't think the race suited at all last time at Newbury. It didn't suit him at all. I think he's going to get a much faster pace here with obviously the pacemaker in the race. And I just think Epatante, I think that race at Newcastle could leave a lasting effect on her. We saw it with So Royal, and Not So Sleepy ran in it obviously in dead heat as well. I thought that was a grueler. The weather had changed, the wind, the snow. It was a real war of attrition. And I think Soaring Glory, this could be his big day. And it says a lot when a horse rated 149 can win a Christmas hurdle. But I'm with Soaring Glory. I think on his day, he's a good horse. And I think this just might be his day.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Tritonic runs in it. Having won the handicap the other day, but
God, it's desperate stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not a good race, no.
The other really good race, thankfully, we have 2 really good Grade 1s, is what we spoke about already, but it is the Cauto Star Novices Chase.
Yeah, that's a classic.
That is a classic.
Yeah.
We're both Ahoy Senior fans, just about?
Just about. At Cheltenham, I think he will beat him, but Kempton, I'd be a little bit iffy, but hopefully Ahoy Senior wins, yeah.
Yeah, okie dokes. And at Leopardstown, it is the race we sponsor, the Racing Post Novice Chase. And it's a big race for you, Gavin.
Yes, it is.
Fernie Hollow.
Fernie Hollow, yeah. I'm hoping he wins. I have him backed for this race, and I have him backed for March as well.
Oh,
and
you backed him for this?
Yeah.
What price?
A while ago. Riviere de Tel is going to be a very, very tough nut to crack. She's 3 from 3, twice a Punchestown, the last day in Navan. She jumps a tiny bit to her right, but don't worry about that. She's very, very good. Fernie has to give her £13. She's going to go lickety split. Hopefully he's as good as he was when he beat Bob and beat Appreciated and stuff. So the world's his oyster at the minute, but he'll want to be at his very best to beat her.
What price is Fernie Hollow at the moment? Bet 365?
They're not betting it, I don't think, but they're 8 to 13, 4 to 6 generally. Fernie is 7 to 4 Riviere de Tel, 12's Bar. And just one other thing to point out in terms of the Arkle is that Appreciated, there's a 2 mile beginner's chase, I think on the 27th in Leopardstown, and he's not entering it. The next beginner's chase around that trip for a gelding for him is the 9th of January in Fairyhouse. So just...
What's the story? Have we heard
I don't know. I've heard nothing, no. So just he's not entered in the beginner's chase at Christmas. So just
for the next show, I'll try and find out at Leopardstown if I get chatting to Willie Mullins.
Okay.
I'll find out why Appreciated isn't it.
So anyway, fingers crossed for Fernie Hollow, but Riviere de Tel in a small run of field and Leopardstown should be tough to beat.
No, I think Fernie Hollow will beat her.
Good.
The Faheen Novice Chase at Limerick.
Yeah, I think the betting on this is a bit crazy. They have Gabby Nack in at 2 to 1.
Mad, isn't it?
Mad. Like that has to go off at least 3 to 1, 7 to 2.
Yeah.
2 to 1's a crazy price. There's 17 declared or entered at the moment. Vanillier for Gavin Cromwell. He's got Gabby Nacco as well. He's 9 to 2, so he's the 2 favourites in it. Beacon Edge is there, Lifetime Ambition. They might make more use of him because they held him up in the Drinmore. It didn't really suit him. He didn't get to use his jumping. Mr. Incredible. The 2 I like in it at 8 to 1 and 14 to 1 is Farouk Delaine at 8 to 1. I think if he shows up there, he's got a big chance. He won the 2 mile 7, the graded novice hurdle last year, beating Vanillier in Limerick. He's won in heavy ground. And the other one I like is Lieutenant Command. Very impressive from Ferry. His jumping was brilliant. He won his bumper there in heavy ground. So the two I'd like is Farouk Delaine and Lieutenant Command, 8-1 and 14-1.
Farouk Delaine 8-1. I just thought that was crazy.
Crazy price.
Yeah, I think he's potentially the best horse in the race.
He could be, but Gabinacco 2-1 is mental.
Yeah, Farouk Delaine for me as well, 8-1 in the Faheen Novices Chase. Moving on to the 27th, Gavin. Paddy Power Chase.
Yes.
Open race, obviously, as ever. What are we the field
Yeah,
at the moment?
7-1 the field, 7-1 your horse, the boss is Oscar. Conflated.
A lot of horses today.
You do, yeah. 9-1 Alpha Mix, fully charged. His full brother is 12-1. Brayside 12-1 and 14's Barracks.
I have one for this.
I fancy, I'm going to give you 3 in it, but I fancy 1.
Okay, give us the 3. The one, your 3.
2 is a saver and 1 is a proper bet.
Okay. Give us the proper one first.
That's just the way I would, the way I'd punt sometimes. Alpha Mix at 9-1.
Yeah, okay.
Don't forget, he was 7th in the Coral Cup off 142. He ran just chinned by fully charged. As we said, his brother, even though the brother is a grey, off 133. He's in here off 137. That was his first ever handicap. His jumping is fine. He's quite low at them. He kind of hurdles them a little bit, but I fancy him. And
great chance.
If the ground, I looked up yr.no. It's a website I use for checking the forecasts. So Kempton to get a bit of rain. Kempton to get a bit of rain. Chepstow to get a bit. Limerick to get a bit. And Leopardstown to get a lot. But we'll see. It's still a number of days away.
So the two
I'm just
savers.
saying, the 2 savers, if the ground come up soft and there was loads of rain, Brayside, who won the Cork National over 3.5, he's a second season novice, just like Alpha Mix, they didn't win last year. And Smoking Gun at 20-1, the horse that won the Porterstown. If the ground came up, testing. If
You're going to be surprised at my one here
Go
now.
on.
A horse called Boz de Clamart.
Oh yeah.
Liz Doyle trains, won at Gorham Park, blinkers on for the first time. I've thought for the guts of a year since he fell at Punchestown at the Fort last in November of 2020. I've thought this horse is ridiculously well handicapped. His form figures don't inspire confidence. I think he had a few niggling little issues, but I think he's still well handicapped. I thought he bolted up at Gorham Park.
Beat Fan de Blues.
He beat Fan de Blues, I thought easily, went wide the whole way. I think he's crying out for a step up to 3 miles. Liz is going to keep the blinkers on here. So if they have the desired effect again, and he needs a bit of room, I think he's a bit claustrophobic. He needs to be kept out wide. But Leopardstown is a track where you can do that. And I think he will be kept wide. And I just think if he gets into a rhythm early and he starts enjoying himself, I tipped him up in the paper the week before last at 25-1.
Okay.
And I thought that was a big price. I still think he's well handicapped.
Okay.
Boz de Clamart.
And the only other race maybe we should talk about is the Paddy Power Rewards Club Chase.
That's my job. I introduced the
just
race.
In case you forgot.
Tee you up. You don't tee me up. So the other race we're going to talk about is the Paddy Power Future Champions, is it?
No.
Oh, what one do you want to talk about?
the rewards.
The rewards chase, okay.
Energumene,
yeah.
Shack and Persois and Envoy Allen. I personally wouldn't fancy Envoy Allen. His jumping is not good enough and he's not the horse he was. So for me, Energumene.
Do you think we'll see Shack and Persois?
I don't know. Like, if he doesn't go here, he'll have to go at the Dublin Racing Festival. Perhaps they want to run Energumene there too. So last year he ran Shack and Persois against Min at the end of January, so maybe he will.
Okay. Do you want to close the segment as well?
No.
Go on, have a go.
No.
Go on, have a go. Have a go.
What's this?
That was our Christmas preview. Go on.
That was our Christmas preview.
That was good, Gavin. So it's Upping the Stakes time here on Upping The Ante. And Gavin, this is a big one, okay? Because it's the Christmas festive period. Yeah. Loads of racing. We've loads to choose from. And our good friends at Bet365, they've only gone and given us 50 quid now every week
to
try and raise much needed funds for Cancer Trials Ireland. So we've 50 quid each for a charity bet at Christmas, Gavin. We just need to get this job done.
We won every week, except last week when you weren't here. Because the two horses...
What does that tell you?
Yeah, the two horses myself and Richie picked, neither of them ran. Mine was Buzz,
right.
But it was good to see that Buzz is substitute champ won. So this week, hopefully, we do better.
Right. Do you want to go first or second?
Shall I go first? Well, it's in my head. I'm going to go for 25 each way on Alpha Mix in the Paddy Power Handicap Chase. He's around 8-1, 9-1, so say 9-1. He's only a 6-year-old. He's unexposed. The last day was his first handicap. So I think Alpha Mix has a good chance in the Paddy Power. Very competitive race with 20 odd in it, but...
That's on the 27th at Leopardstown in the Paddy Power Chase. I think it's at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
Alpha Mix for Gavin Lynch, his latest selection. for Upping the Stakes. And I'm going to Kempton on St. Stephen's Day or Boxing Day for our British viewers. I'm going to the 120. It is the Novices Handicap Chase. And I am going for Danny Kerwin. 8-1, 50 quid on the nose, thanks to Bet365 on Danny Kerwin. Okay, so he's rated 133, okay?
Yeah.
I think he is probably a grade 2 chaser going right-handed. All his wins have been right-handed. He ran at the showcase meeting at Cheltenham, obviously left-handed. He was second there to Anis Invictus, and he just hung right, and just didn't seem to really enjoy going around Cheltenham, I didn't think. Cheltenham was never going to be his track. Kempton is his track. It's a second run after wind up. Okay. Love that angle. Love second run after wind up. I just think this has been on Paul Nicholls' mind for a while for this race. It's a valuable race. He's running off a mark of 133. He's going right-handed. He's won at Kempton before. Harry Cobden will ride, and I think he's got about £10 in his back pocket.
That's not you going for a travelly type now, is it?
He is a kind of a travelly type, but I just think he hasn't matured yet. I think he's starting to mature now, and I think he's a good chaser in the making. He's 8-1 Bet365. Now, the chances are he could be running against my one and only Mr. Coffee, which I hope Mr. Coffee is listening.
He's been disappointing.
Well, he was disappointing in Newbury, yeah. But I think Danny Kerwin is going to make a nice chaser. 133, I think, is an attractive mark, so I'm going to have 50 quid on the nose on Danny Kerwin in that 120 at Kempton on the 26th of December. So, Upping the Ante viewers, we have got an early Christmas present for you, Gavin.
Right.
We have, yeah. So, get your first 3 months of the Members Club Ultimate on the Racing Post for half price, 50% off for the first 3 months
January
of
sale.
2022. And Gavin, they need to get it.
Right.
They need to get it, so they do. They get the digital newspaper.
What did they click on?
So you can... They click on the link here. They click on the link here. Can you see it?
No.
All they have to do is click on the link because they get the digital newspaper. So they get all our digital content.
Oh, that link.
And the digital newspaper. All you need to do is subscribe by clicking that link there.
They also get subscribe to Track Horses, read exclusive trainer quotes, and rewatch all Irish and UK races.
And what do they have to do?
Click on the
link. Click on the link. And you get Racing Post experts. I was going to say like myself, but not like myself. Like Tom Siegel, Mr. Pricewise, who had a 2,267 to 1 4-timer last Saturday. You get his views, Gavin, and you get Paul Keeley.
What more do you want?
What more do you want? And you get Gavin Lynch.
Great.
Every Saturday in the Racing Post. So to get the first 3 months, half price, all you have to do is click on the link. It's Ante Post picks time here on Upping the Ante. Me and Gavin are going to add to our list. First or second?
I'll go second.
Okay, I'll go first this time. Thanks very much. Good week for me last week, Gavin, with Silver Forever. So I'm hoping to add another nice tip onto my board. And it is L.A. Bell in the Mayor's Novices Hurdle at 10-1 with Bet365, which I think is about 3 points too big.
Okay.
I think she's about a 7-1 shot. I think double figures about L.A. Bell for the Mayor's Novice Hurdle is too big of a price. She ran in the Grade 2 Novice Hurdle, the hottest Novice Hurdle of the season so far at Ascot. And I like the run.
Okay.
Slowly run race didn't suit at all. She was held up out the back. She made her ground on the home turn, got outpaced, then stayed on again. And I have to say, she finished 4-5. But I liked what she did from the last to the line. I did. I thought she was hitting the line nicely. In another stride, she would have got third ahead of Nappers Hill. I think in the grand scheme of the Mayor's Novice Hurdle, I think that's quite strong form. Given that she didn't show her true colours because of the way the race was ran, I think she's far better than that. I think a strongly run race, which she's almost guaranteed in the Mayor's Novice Hurdle, will stand to her. Cheltenham, obviously, it was on a different course, but she was third in the champion bumper last year to 2 very good horses, I'd imagine, in Sir Gerhard and Kilcrut. She's won bumpers at Cheltenham before. I think there's just one day in her this year. I think she's going to peak for the Mayor's Novice Hurdle. I think everything will be ran to suit there. She's only rated 133. I don't think we've seen the best of her yet. And I think at the moment 10-1 is too big about LA Bell for the Mayor's Novice Hurdle.
In her favour is that the Mayor's Novice Hurdle, I think, is 2 mile 1 and a little bit.
Yes.
It's running a new course, so there's a huge amount of stamina needed, and that definitely suits her, as you saw the other day in Ascot. And even when she was third in the champion bumper, it was late on that she caught 3-stripe life for thirds.
I was surprised Bet365 had her at 10-1 now. I thought they might go 6 or 7s.
Yeah, obviously you have to, from your point of view, worry about Willie, who normally wins it. So he's got a couple of nice types.
But then he does have a couple of nice types. You have your Brandy Loves in there. You have your Granges.
Yeah.
And then I said, could any of them have finished third in the champion bumper?
Yeah, they were keeping to mares only last spring.
You know, so I don't know. I just think 10-1 about LA Bell is too big.
Definitely a good chance. Definitely a good chance.
Okay,
yeah.
so you're not ridiculing this one.
But definitely not. No, she's got a good chance. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. LA Bell. Okay, Gavin, this is what they're watching for. Your latest selection, please.
So with this one, I've had to join a few dots. For example, last Saturday, in the thing I do for the Racing Post, I mentioned that Journey With Me was good value at
Festival
16s.
Focus every Saturday, Racing Post. Gavin Lynch, read his thoughts, buy the paper.
So I mentioned that Journey With Me was good value at 16s because he was going for the same maiden hurdle that Bob had won, and he also won the same bumper as Bob.
So it's Journey With Me?
No. So the reason that I've changed to this horse here is that this horse won a maiden hurdle a number of weeks ago, and I thought it was going to run in the 2-mile Future Champions Novice Hurdle at Leopardstown. It's not entered in that race. Largy Debut is, who won the same day in Cork. There's a clue for you. But this horse is not going to Leopardstown at Christmas. It is entered in the Lawlers of Naas, which is Sunday week. It's very early this year in Naas.
It is, yeah.
On the 2nd of January. And the horse is Dysart Dynamo to win the Ballymore at 12 to 1.
12 to 1 with Bet365 Dysart Dynamo. Explain yourself.
Okay, so he won a bumper in Clonmel over 2 miles, 2.5 furlongs. So I think he definitely stays. He won that day by 8.5 lengths. He stayed well. Then he won a winner's bumper in Punchestown over 2 miles. He won by 7.5 lengths in the end. He showed plenty of gears that day. He was very keen in the first mile of the race. I backed him, and at halfway I was going, oh God. But he ended up winning very, very easily. So he has the stamina. He has the gears. He returned in Cork on the 5th of December, and he won a maiden hurdle by 19 lengths. It was first time tongue tie, but I'm over that. He jumped well, except for a mistake at the last. I think he's got everything you need. He jumps well. He travels, he stays, he has toe. I think he'll win the Lawlers and Ace. He's going to be against horses like Hollow Games, Grand Jury, maybe What Do You Want of Willie's, 3 Stripe Life, and maybe even Ginto might go there instead of Limerick. But I think he'll win the Lawlers, and if he wins that, I could see him being a 5-1 shot maybe for. But now he has to go and win the Lawlers. If he doesn't win that, he's not good enough to win the Ballymore, but I think he is. And judging by the entries that I saw yesterday, I thought he was going to Leopardstown. He's not. He's going to Naas, hopefully. So.
And I have to hand it to you. You were one of the founding members of the Dysart Dynamo fan club. You were talking to me about this horse when I had never heard of him.
Well, we did a preview for the season back in whatever it was it late September or something to preview for Upping The Ante, and I mentioned him then. He's a lovely horse. He's only 6, turning 7 next week. So yeah, I think the Lawlers and Ace, the last 2 winners of it were Bob and Envoy, and they went on to win the Ballymore. So it's the best trial for the race. And I could see him winning that race, making all maybe. And if he does, he's got a big chance in the Ballymore.
It's a good selection, Gavin. You're forming a very strong team here. I don't know where the weak links are. You've got another good one in.
Buzz is a weak link.
Buzz is a weak link. Buzz, unfortunately, is silent at the moment. But 12 to 1 Dysart Dynamo for the Ballymore Novices Hurdle is Gavin Lynch's latest selection. So before we bid you farewell for Christmas, we're going to have a look at our Ante Post list so far. And mine is looking a little bit better after last week, Gavin. Silver Forever, 20 to 1. Is now 10 to 1 Bet365, so halved in price, and I did say that might happen.
You did?
Halved in price. Time Hill tipped up by myself at 8 to 1 is now a 6 to 1 shot with Bet365 for the Stayers Hurdle. So I'm clinging on to those 2 at the moment, Gavin.
Yeah, she'll have plenty more to come.
I will have plenty more to come. Yeah. Just wait until the handicaps come out, Gavin.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your list.
Phil Dorr, we tipped him up at 10s. He's now, I think, 4 to 1 with Bet365. I think ground was very important to him. He was very impressive in the north. The ground was much quicker in Fairyhouse. Wasn't quite as impressive in a better race. Might go to Chepstow, but if Leopardstown get the rain that we all hope they get, I could see him maybe beating O'Mead's horse a bit easier this time, Lunar Power. Fernie Hollow would be good if he won at Christmas. American Mike was good on Saturday.
Very good.
Maybe Blazing Cal and what else? There, Ellie May and Galloping the Champ and Buzz, unfortunately.
It's a big Christmas for you.
Yeah, sure, it's a big Christmas for everybody.
Yeah, it'll be interesting when we come back here after all the Christmas racing. It'll be interesting to see how we fared and how the lists are standing. But
yeah, there'll be a lot of big performances over the winter.
You're going in there in good shape anyway, Gavin.
Not too bad.
That was a quick look at our Ante Post list. So that's it, folks. That's it for episode 7 of Upping The Ante in association with Bet365. Gavin, only a couple of days to go. Have you got the Christmas shopping done?
Sure, yeah.
What did you get, Anne-Marie, this year?
Same as usual. A voucher for Kildare Village.
Voucher?
She gets 2 of them, yeah. One for her birthday, one for Christmas. She doesn't trust me to get something proper, but I'll get her something else, but I'm just no good at shopping. Now,
I missed a big lunch last week, so you're treating me to lunch today. How did the big Christmas lunch go last week?
Yeah, it was good, yeah. Lawrence, our cameraman, came out. And
new cameraman?
Yeah, I was chatting with Lawrence, and I says to Lawrence, "Are you into horse racing?" He goes, no. Lawrence does DJs, and he's a famous cameraman.
A famous cameraman?
Yeah. And so I was chatting about horse racing. No, I'm not into it. And I said, "Can you name one horse that you ever heard of?" And he went, oh, yeah. He said, Sherbert.
Sherbert.
And I said, Sherbert. I said, you mean Shergar? Yeah, Shergar, yeah.
Shergar, wow.
Yeah, so,
yeah, good man, Lawrence. He doesn't have a clue what we're talking about.
No, not a clue, no.
So you're all set anyway?
Yeah, all set, yeah. Looking forward to the racing. Yeah, can't wait.
Is Christmas usually a profitable time for you punting-wise?
Oh, the last 3 St. Stephen's Days, the 26th, have been a nightmare. So I'm going to go handy this year, just on the 26th, and then we'll go back to being
You've learned your lesson.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, listen, have a very happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas to everybody.
Happy Christmas to Anne-Marie and the family. And we will be back on your screens next Tuesday, where we'll obviously have the start of the Christmas festival.
We'll have the first 2 days over, and we can chat about those too.
We can chat about the rest of it. But we'll be here. What better way to start a Christmas Days racing than with Upping The Ante next Tuesday? To everybody watching, to all our viewers, all our fans, thanks so much for watching throughout the year. We've enjoyed every second, haven't we?
Yep.
Have a wonderful Christmas and enjoy every second of it. And don't forget, if you're having a bet, plenty of racing, Gavin, always gamble responsibly. Only bet what you can afford to lose. Thanks for watching.